Hello. It's a spark in the heart. Today's theme is how to attract people's attention. The content is excerpted from Dale Carnegie's theory of self-management. I want you to feel what I felt. Let's get started then. If you met US President Theodore Roosevelt, everyone is surprised by his wide range of knowledge. His confidant, Gamaliel Bradford, went so far as to say, whether the topic was cowboy, Roosevelt's own cavalry, New York politician, or diplomat, Roosevelt had something to say. How is this possible? That's because Roosevelt studied topics in advance that would be of particular interest to anyone coming. So why did Roosevelt do that? That's because Roosevelt already knew that the shortcut to a person's mind was to talk about what he valued most. And these cases are not just Roosevelt. William Ryan Phelps, who was teaching literature at Yale University, said this in his thesis, Human Nature. When I was 8 years old, I once spent a weekend at Aunt Lindsley's house in Stratford, along the Housatonic River. At that time, a middle-aged man came to visit in the evening. After patting my aunt down, she showed interest in me. I was crazy about boats at the time. And he really had a lot of fun talking to me about the topic. After he passed away, I made an impression of him. What a great person. What an interest in boats. Then my aunt informed me that he was a New York lawyer, a man who had no knowledge of boats, and no interest in the subject. So I asked my aunt back, so why did he only talk about boats the whole time? Then my aunt said, that's because he's a gentleman. He noticed that you were interested in boats. That's why I talked about things that you find interesting, that you think will please you. He did something sweet. And Phelps added, I have never forgotten my aunt's words since that day. If you have to pay attention to others like this, you need a process of studying that person. It means that it is important to study about the person's interests and meet and have a conversation about those interests. And this process is also valid for business. Let me give you an example. Henry Devernoy, CEO of Devernoy & Sons, one of New York's bakeries, wanted to deliver bread to a hotel. But it wasn't easy. He visited the hotel representative for 4 years, attended his social gatherings, and even stayed at the hotel. Nevertheless, delivery was a long way off. So Devernoy decides to change the way. We decided to look for where the hotel representative was interested and what was capturing his heart. I found out that the hotel representative was attending a meeting of hotel managers called the American Hotel Association. And he became the president of the organization, and he also served as the president of the United Nations. The representative had a lot of enthusiasm for the organization. So Devernoy studied about the organization, and the next time he met with a representative, he had a conversation about it. What happened to the result? We talked about the group for no less than 30 minutes, and I was able to confirm to the hotel representative that the group was a hobby and a lifelong passion. He even sold Devernoy a membership in that group. But Devernoy didn't mention a word about the delivery to the bread that day. I think I can hear you saying, what's that? But a few days later, the hotel staff calls Devernoy and tells him to bring the bread samples and the price tag. And I added this. I don't know what you did to our CEO, but I think he passed on to the CEO. It's ironic. It's easy to find out where the hotel representative's interest is and what kind of story he likes after not following him for 4 years. So if you want to get attention or make someone like you now, the rules are as follows. Talk to someone else's interests. After all, the most important thing in human relations is studying people. It certainly doesn't seem to be a good conversation skill to push yourself without knowing the other person well. What do you think? Thank you.